Well, top of the morning to y'all. It's Tuesday and it's St. Patty's Day. It's my favorite day of the year. And we're here. We're going to be reviewing some Dingle Batch 3. But I have my favorite two mates with me, Mike and Ben. Ben says he's not sick. We'll find out about that.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.
All right, and we are back. And like we said, we're going to be talking about Dingle and Irish whiskey from Dingle County, Kerry, Ireland. And Dingle was kind of an interesting distillery when we started researching it. It was founded by Oliver Hughes, Liam Lahart, and Peter Mosley. And actually, they had started Porterhouse Brewing Company in 1996. They were part of the craft beer movement at that point, kind of the mid-90s. And I don't want to say sadly, but as you can imagine, that didn't really catch on in Ireland the same way it did here. Some of the people were not into it, and I guess another group thought they were kind of crazy for doing what they were doing. So they kind of after they got done with that, they developed their palates more for a more refined taste and moved up to whiskey and other spirits, which I think a lot of people in the chat and other things have done. After you kind of get through beer, you kind of start moving up the ranks of, ABV and start getting some new taste. So then they opened the artisan distillery known as Dingle in 2012. The first cask was filled in December 18th, 2012, and 3 years later and 1 day, so December 19th, 2015, the first cask was released. It is made It is made from a triple distillation process where they use 3 distinctively handcrafted stills. So 3 different ones, a little bit different than getting the same one run over and over again. And they use a boil ball for more reflux. You can look up what that is later on. I'm guessing it's a little ball that has to be pushed up and actually might be kind of fun to watch if you have had some free time. But we are reviewing batch 3. So they have, I believe they're on batch 5 now. Mm-hmm. So there's been a few other ones. This one is a marriage of bourbon and port casks. So once it's actually distilled, they put it in either a bourbon or port afterwards. They blend it together. So that's what we're getting here tonight. And before we leave, I'm going to talk about one other thing, their Founding Fathers program. But let's start getting into some of the smells and tastes of this one on this fine Irish holiday.
All right. I'm going to have to take a break for a second. I got to take care of something real quick.
Okay. That is he has the virus. It's just a lie down there.
We warned him.
We warned him about taunting.
Do not taunt karma.
Yeah, not the best thing to do. But that's we did last week, and so it got us that week.
So on the nose, I mean, there's kind of the stereotypical Irish that you get with a lot of them, but there's not any kind of ethanol coming off, but it's very floral with hay and a little tea, and I get a little bit of almond.
Mm-hmm. And you're not, like you said, you're not getting that kind of metallic-y note that you get like from Jameson and other things sometimes.
No, and it's 46.5%, so it's a very respectable proof.
Mm-hmm. And I'm getting the port on the nose quite a bit, actually. For me,
yeah,
I'm getting kind of that
back end, yeah.
That berry is kind of coming up at me. Yeah, that's for me. That's more of the predominant note is like the berry note from them. I'm getting still kind of that bready note that you get from some Irishes. But yeah, the way I'm getting, the port cask is having a much heavier influence on the nose for me. Did you get the right whiskey, Ben?
I got it.
Okay, just said no.
I'm getting a little bit more of the bourbon is coming off to me first off on the nose here. I get a little bit of the fruitiness from the port, but I'm getting a touch of cinnamon and some of the vanilla from the port cask. And then there's the earthy, it's almost like a earthy red berries just coming across.
Like a subdued. It's not like jumping out at you, but like earthy is a good way to. There, I get the vanilla's in there. I feel bad for vanilla in my flavor descriptions because it always gets kind of waved over. I always seem to kind of miss that one.
It's vanilla. I mean,
it should be in there, you know. Yeah. But I do forget to add it in because sometimes it's not.
Well, you know, there's different types. I mean, you can get a nice Mexican vanilla.
This smells rich though, kind of medium level, but rich with the flavors.
It does. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, I'm gonna jump into some tastes. Whoa. Once again, this is a nice 2-barrel blend.
Yeah.
Not on the same, because Icarus has got that isle in it, but this is like very similar and like the flavor, how it's kind of mid-level range flavors kind of melting together, and then kind of each kind of coming up for a split second, but very well married together on this. They did an excellent job with that.
Yeah, it's very velvety.
Mm-hmm.
I get black tea in the taste, along with the butter pastry and
I'm getting that
the wood and fruit.
That nice, but when you're saying velvet, I was gonna get like where butter was kind of just like covering your mouth. It's almost more like a red breast, but not the same flavors as a red breast in my mind.
No, more so than the red breast 12, I think. It actually has more. To me, this has more of a overall mouthfeel to the 15. I think the 15 is more rounded and softer, and this is definitely closer to that.
But I'm digging the port in this. I'm surprised.
It's a nice whiskey.
I tried a little sample a while ago and not as much, but this evening I'm really digging this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
It's interesting. With the port cask, it puts me almost in mind of a Teeling a little bit. The Teeling single malt. There's some just the winey port notes coming through in there. I get a little bit of bitter chocolate on the mid palate, and it's just got that classic pot. To me, what I define as classic pot still character. It's that rich savoriness that's just lovely. And there's a tiny metallic ding right coming into the finish, but not much. And this is really lovely.
I get the metallic thing, but it is so slight and small.
It is.
Yeah.
Like and I don't get it on the nose. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. What'd you say, Ben?
It's not Jameson.
Oh God, no, not even close. Like it's just like a little pitch note and gone. But this is I was gonna say like, well, and I like the aftertaste has got a really nice earthy aftertaste. You're not getting much oak in it. I mean, a little bit, but it's like the other. You can tell it's like the other barrel flavors. I wonder if it's a used bourbon barrel or if it's a new one. That I didn't look up. That's on me. But no, the berry flavors in this.
I would assume it would be used bourbon.
You would think so, but I don't know. I don't want to speak.
One thing that I really appreciate about these guys is they didn't source their stuff. They started off making their own, and I think if I remember correctly, they said that they were like the first all new distillery in Ireland in like 100 years or something.
Yep.
Yeah.
They're taking on the big three. Yeah. And that gets me into the one other thing here that when they started, they actually came out with the Founding Fathers program, which I thought was kick ass. And if there was more distilleries starting up that did something like this, it would be neat. So basically, if you were part of the Founding Fathers program, they had 500 casks that were available that they were going to make. They made the whiskey for. Then each cask is an individual to the owner or person who buys it or the group that buys it. You got to pick between the type of wood barrel it was aged in, port, sherry, bourbon, or Madeira, and you get to pick when it's reached its aging point. They age it for you, just sits in their warehouse. Could be 5 years, could be 10 years, it could be 25 years down the road, and all of a sudden you're like, I'd like my barrel. Then they bottle it with a cool special label, and you get to pick what happens to it. Not them, not their distributor. That's on you to do. And I thought that was an awesome program, and I really, that's something if someone else was doing that, and you got to taste kind of like the moonshine, or maybe kind of that first test run they did a year or so before to kind of see where they're headed. I would jump on that, especially with the type of woods they're giving you as options. You know, like I haven't met a Madeira I haven't disliked. So I thought that was actually a really cool kind of adage that they did to kind of help kick themselves off and get them going and get the whiskey enthusiasts kind of embedded into them. Especially like you said, when we were taking on the big major three at that point. So
I'm digging the finish on this thing. It's just going and going and going, and it's really yummy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. It reminds me of a dessert.
Really nice. Yeah,
it is. It's like a dessert, but it's not heavy or too sugary.
No.
It's a really nice finish to this.
Yeah, it is.
It's wonderful. But unfortunately, we're getting to the point where we got to get off and kind of hop on with the Galladay and do our live stream with them. So check it out. God, always the wrong hand. I'm going to get this down. Above Mike's head. Check that out. I was going to say we're going to talk about being a brand ambassador and kind of how their love of whiskey and everything started with them. So check it out over there. Later this week, we might have another Irish whiskey and one or two others where we might be releasing as well too. So stop in, check us out, and remember, it's not the size of the den that matters. It's the love of the whiskey. Cheers, everyone.
Cheers.
Let's get into it. 1, 2, 3.